Welcome to S.H.I.N.E Global Ministries exclusive interview. Can you please tell us your name?
Sure. My name is Janelle Louis.
And what role do you play in S.H.I.N.E Global Ministry, Janelle?
I am co-director of S.H.I.N.E Global Ministry.
Janelle, I understand you had a ministry before this. Can you tell us a little bit about what your ministry was before starting S.H.I.N.E Global Ministry with your husband?
Sure. The ministry that I had before S.H.I.N.E was called Saving Health Ministries, and the goal of Saving Health Ministries was to educate people concerning the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of health and how they are all interconnected.
So how is this new ministry different from the old ministry?
This new ministry is similar to the old ministry in that there are similar goals. They have similar goals. In both of those ministries, the goal is to prepare people for the second coming of Jesus, but it's different. It's different in the way that we seek to accomplish those goals.
Okay. So I understand you're also newly married and now you have a partner in ministry.
That's correct.
What do you think having two people in the ministry and in a marriage what does that bring to the ministry that otherwise would be lacking? What do you as an individual bring to the ministry and what does your husband bring to the ministry?
I think that my husband and I are very complementary. I think that as far as the ministry is concerned, we complement each other. For example, our goal, like I said, is to educate people concerning physical, mental, and spiritual health and how those are all connected. My husband's training is focused more on the spiritual and mental aspects. My training is focused more on the health aspect. And so when we come together, I feel that the two of us, together we can have a more powerful ministry than either of us could have had individually.
Okay. Did you have any kind of formal health education before you started either ministries?
I did.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, before I started Saving Health Ministries, I trained as a lifestyle educator in Alabama. And before starting S.H.I.N.E, and currently right now, I was and am a student in Naturopathic medical school.
Okay. So do you think your training in Alabama, that training that you received, do you think that was helpful in helping you know how to be an effective medical missionary?
Most definitely. Most definitely. I think for me it was really important to understand the connection between spiritual health and physical health. And I feel that my understanding of that is crucial to me being a good lifestyle educator.
Okay.
I believe that I received an excellent foundation at that school.
Okay. So why did you feel the need to go on to further training?
Like I said, it was a good foundation, but after graduating from that school, I spent about a year working as a medical missionary or a lifestyle educator, and throughout the course of that year, I became more in tune with the fact that there was still room for growth as far as the scientific aspect of health was concerned. And through various things, through God's providence and also through studying His Word and through influences of His Spirit, I was led to go to Naturopathic medical school to further my training so that I could be even more of a blessing to the cause that I was seeking to uphold.
Can you tell us a little bit about your medical training? What makes your medical training different than, let's say, if you went to school online or if you did it by yourself?
Okay. My medical training it's very comprehensive actually. for example, during my first year here at S.H.I.N.E, I spent a lot of time getting to know anatomy and physiology, and I think that the reason I spent so much time studying anatomy and physiology is because my background in anatomy and physiology was so poor. And so I had to dedicate quite a bit of time to that. And not only did I study anatomy and physiology through the textbooks and also through the PowerPoints, the different lectures that we had, but we also spent time in the cadaver lab dissecting human bodies and just seeing the structure and function.
Weren't you scared?
No, I actually wasn't scared. It was an interesting experience for me. The first time I was completely fine, and the second time that I went into the cadaver lab, I think that was when it really hit me, because I started to feel really nauseous and I started to feel like I was getting sick. But after that, I was completely fine. We would get out of the cadaver lab and go have lunch. It was
All right.
it was more, we got used to it. So yeah, I think that was one of the most helpful things to me as far as learning anatomy and physiology was concerned, is actually seeing it. In the second year, my main course was general medical diagnosis, along with other things, but for me that was the most salient course, general medical diagnosis. So I was studying pathology, just various diseases, how they present, what are warning signs, just really getting to know pathology. That was really beneficial to me. All the while I was studying various treatment modalities such as botanical medicine, hydrotherapy, physical medicine, all of these things. Now in my third year, which is the year that I'm currently in, I started to see patients in the clinic. And I see patients in the clinic in the S.H.I.N.E Medical Center. I also have seen patients at various clinics around Arizona. And for me, the third year is kind of where the rubber hit the road. We had been studying how to do a medical intake, how to do all these different things, what various diseases how various diseases present clinically. And in the third year, we started to see what we had been learning about in the previous 2 years. So, like I said, my training here at S.H.I.N.E has been very comprehensive, and I'm looking forward to my last year.
So let me ask you this question. Do you think that you have a better understanding of how drugs interact with each other and with natural remedies as a result of coming to medical school, that, do you have an understanding that you didn't have before?
Oh, most definitely. And as a lifestyle educator, that was one of my main concerns, because I would meet people who would tell me that the side effects of their drugs were worse than the actual disease, and they would be looking to me, asking me to help them get off of their medication. But I really didn't feel comfortable doing that, because I didn't feel like I understood the drugs well enough. And so during my second year at S.H.I.N.E, I studied pharmacology. We studied a lot of pharmacology. And as a result of being here, I feel that I understand more what the drug is doing to the body, how the body interacts with the drug, and also how drugs interact with herbal medicines.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Why did you choose to attend an actual brick and mortar school as opposed to going to school online?
My decision to come to S.H.I.N.E was based solely on what I was looking for. So, for example, for me, I felt that based on the work that I had been doing and the work that I wanted to do, a thorough understanding of anatomy and physiology was necessary. So I wanted a school that would help me to understand anatomy and physiology in such a way that I would be able to explain it to my patients. I wanted a school that would teach me about drugs, help me to understand how they work and how they interact with the body, and also with herbs and with each other. So I wanted to study pharmacology. I wanted a school that would give me clinical experience, a school where I would have the privilege of seeing patients, taking their cases, coming up with treatment plans that would basically prepare me to be a competent physician. And after a lot of research, I found that the only schools that would give me what I wanted were schools that were CNME accredited, or of which SCNM is one.
Okay. What would you say to a student who feels like God is calling them to a deeper medical training? Maybe God is calling them to be a physician, or He's calling them to be a physician teacher. What would you say to them as they are going on their search to try to find a place for them to be able to get this training that will allow them to do what they need to do?
I would say stay connected to God. He will reveal to you His will for your life. I'd say that He has a plan. And if you ask Him for wisdom, He'll provide it to you. He'll give it to you. He'll explain to you exactly where to go, what to do, and when to do it.
Okay. So are there any words that you have to someone who may want to be a medical missionary, but they don't necessarily want to be a doctor? You think, advice would you give to them?
I would tell them that there's a great field out there for them to go ahead and do that. They can do an excellent work. I would tell them to never stop learning, to do their best to try to understand the science of the body, how it operates, and to do the work that they are seeking to do intelligently and responsibly.
Okay.
And God will be with them. You know, if they're humble, He'll be with them. He'll guide them and make their work a success.
How do you plan on incorporating the spiritual aspect of the gospel into the work that you plan to do in the future?
Which work are you talking about?
Talking about, your work as a physician.
Mm-hmm. As a physician, I understand that if my patients get better, it's not because of me. God is the one who heals. He's the only one who can bring healing. And it's my purpose to make sure that my patients also understand that I'm just a vehicle. And I just want to be used by God to point my patients to Him.
All right, Janelle. Thank you for your time. And thank you for tuning in. And God bless.